Hello, this is No Face Movements, February 22nd, 2013, and this video is called The Death of Detroit. What's about to happen in Detroit is already happening in your city or other cities that you know, or what's to come to your city. Alright, folks, there about to be a federal emergency management team here in the city of Detroit. It's not the only city in America that has a federal emergency management. California cities, and there's a lot of cities out there. But here's the one rule: if you're an American citizen, this is when you ride. This is when you get up and you do something about it. No day in history should the federal government be in control of your city, your county, your state. You have the right to defend yourself from these evil sons of bees. You understand what I'm saying? These evil sons of bees. Alright? Once you have we have a federal emergency management, not just here in Detroit in our school system. And people said, oh yeah, this is great. It wasn't great. Basically, who owns the federal government, Mystique?
Privatized corporations and banks.
So what are they going to do? They come in, they take over your city. What they did to our school, they took over our schools, right? What happened to our schools? They owe more money than normal people if our government was running it. Then they owed now we owe 3 times the amount. Next, they start selling off the buildings. Now they're dumbing down folks. Now when they come over to take over a city, a county, a state, and that's already happened when we gave all the power to Rick Snyder on Proposal 1. But what happens when they control the city? You got bankers. I don't call them federal government. This is what they are. Take the federal out. Who are they? The bankers. The international bankers control our city. You don't have the right to vote. That's proven. You don't have the right to say nothing. And plus, we're going to always saying that. It's not like they're just going to leave. They're going to be there forever. And they're going to take all our money. They're going to sell our resources. They're going to sell our properties. And this is what's happening in Detroit right now. And this is the heart of America. And you say, oh, well, Detroit's bad and all this stuff. No, if it wasn't for Detroit, America wouldn't be doing as good as it is. It invented the Industrial Revolution. We got cars. It's the heart of America. It's the truth. Our number one export in the United States of America is automobiles. And this is the city of Detroit. So it should be doing better than what it looks like. All right. Now, we all know on March the 1st, 2013, the fiscal cliff returns. And you say, oh no, it's the sequence end. No, that's just a fancy name to get you off and keep you dumbed down. Alright, like I told you in December. Well, what's going to happen is that they're going to extend it for about 3 months till March. And then you're going to see the fiscal cliff come in, but they're going to call it something else. And then you're going to just see them just going through with the fiscal cliff. Alright? All they did on January the 1st, January 2nd, 2000, was extend the fiscal cliff. Like I told you guys in December. All they did was extend the fiscal cliff to March the 1st, 2013. They could just call it a different name to get you guys off the track of the fiscal cliff. Alright, folks. It's the same thing. So if we go over March the 1st, we were more than 3 months behind. We were behind all the way from September. And September 30th, 2013 is the end of fiscal year for 2013. So if they can't come up for something for last year, I ain't got no confidence in them coming up with something for the year 2013. Alright? Automatic spending cuts are going to take place. Alright? And people out there are always like, oh yeah, our economy is doing so good. The reason our economy is doing so good and our stock markets went up is because they didn't pay us our tax money that was due to us. Alright? We all had to wait till the end of January to do our taxes. You could have done it before, but they didn't submit them till the end of January. And everyone got their money back pretty fast because they just pumped the whole economy with money. They just injected all that money back in the economy, so it got spent all at one time. You just start seeing gas prices rising. You start seeing food prices rising. Then you got the President of the United States talking about raising minimum wage. I'm great if you raise minimum wage. But if you raise minimum wage and that guy was making $9 an hour and minimum wage was at $7.40, you raise it and it's up to $9. The guy that was making $9 is still gonna get paid $9. The guy that's making $13 and minimum wage was at $7.40. Alright, you think he's gonna get paid $19 when it's $9? Of course not. Alright, folks, so please wake up. Alright, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. A lot of stuff. We got furloughs. Alright, this is what they want. They want our economy to collapse. And I got warnings and watches for our economy to collapse. If they don't come up on March the 1st and they don't stop none of this stuff from uh, by defaulting, we get all those automatic cuts. I ain't got no faith in our government no more. And that's the truth. Our government shouldn't be running. They're talking about pulling the blame game. I blame it on every single one. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, or the President of the United States of America. You know what's going on. If you're President of the United States of America, you can use your executive orders for this stuff. But whatever. So we're seeing furloughs in the military, automatic spending cuts in in the military, the Department of Defense, spending cuts. Yeah, it's all right, right? No, it's not all right. There's a war brewing out there, and they're just gonna cut our military. All right. What's gonna happen first is our economy is gonna get all messed up. That's what's happening. Then World War III, and we're weak. It's not just here in America. All they're pointing at is that our military is going to get cuts. It's not just that; it's our cities too. Like Kansas City, government employees on the brink of 3 week furloughs by next week. Kind of weird, right? Then all of a sudden over here, Detroit City Council imposes furloughs on union employees. Detroit City Council has approved a new round of furlough days for 600 union workers. And it's not just happening in these two cities; it's happening all across America. All right. Like I said, never ever get a federal financial manager. Once you get a federal financial manager, basically you just give them the power over to the banks. They come in, take all your stuff, your water, all your stuff. It's all federal owned, right? All banks owns it. Take away all your resources, all your lands, all your treasure, and people pay for it and they sell it. All right. Now let's get into the death of Detroit. Oh, hold on 1 second, folks. See this bastard right here? During election season of 2012, we had 10 proposals. That was important. Vote no on the bridge because they're going to use taxpayers' money. There's a whole bunch of proposals on the healthcare, all that stuff. Everyone voted no. But the main one that they didn't advertise on TV was proposal number one. And everyone out there voted yes on it. Alright? Everyone out there voted yes on proposal number one. That gives this guy right here the complete power to do whatever he wants. It doesn't matter on anything else. If he wants to build a bridge tomorrow, all he has to say is, yes, I want to build a bridge tomorrow. If he wants to put, they're talking in this article, some people are already telling Michigan Governor Rick Snyder that they don't want the job of fixing Detroit's financial woes, even before he decides whether he's going to appoint an emergency manager. Yes, he is going to appoint a federal emergency manager. This was his plan from the get-go. All right. And what else is weird? This is from Mystique. The governor already appointed people into the city. We had a federal emergency manager, bank emergency managers for our schools, not just here in Detroit, but all over the country. But right now it's hitting Detroit the hardest. Kansas City, it's all over the country. But what happens is that these federal managers come in, they can't figure out the budget, they take all our money, they start selling off the schools, they collect all the money, and they don't put it back in the school system. All right, then they fire that guy, and then they get another federal manager. But he has to give all that money back to the federal government, the banker government, right? Once you do that to the city, what happens? All right, you see, we're in more debt right now than ever before from the governor right here appoints uh, the city. All they did was take our money. All right, all they did was put us deeper into debt when the governor appointed people into our city. All right, now what we're gonna say, Mystique?
The state took over for 6 months in our city, and what happened was the debt of the city rise. I don't see where the furloughs are doing anyone any good. The states are taking over many of the schools in the city, and the children have more days out. How can they learn? They're being down if you have more days that's out of school.
All right, and that's the truth. Our governor came in. He already appointed some people around the city, and our debt is more. He owes us money. Let's get this a little article. You can read the rest at the bottom.
Governor's appointees push city further into debt as companies skip out on the tax bill and leave workers to pick up the tab. The state of Michigan continues to fail the citizens of Detroit as media reports surface showing the city losing out on millions of dollars in uncollected property taxes owned by corporations. There are more than a dozen people serving on the Financial Advisory Board, the legal team, the accounting team, and in the mayor's office, said Ed McNeil, chairman of the Detroit Coalition of Labor Unions. More importantly, the state-mandated accounting firm Ernst & Young has been knee-deep in the city's finances for more than a year, and still, none of these experts in finance, business, and law can help the city do something as simple as collect millions of dollars in taxes and fees from the city's leading corporations. Their failure is pushing the city further into debt and costing employees their jobs. The Detroit Free Press broke the story that leading companies from the owners of the Detroit Tigers and Red Wings to the owners of the state fairgrounds owe millions of dollars in property taxes from as early as 2003. Many companies are disputing their tax bills and attributing the tax snafus to sloppy bookkeeping by the city. Still, after months of having state appointees in place, confusion reigns over which corporation owes what and back taxes, with no resolution in sight. In the meantime, while some companies skip out on their debt, workers pick up the tab with layoffs, unpaid furlough days, and cuts in health care. Now the state is talking about appointing an emergency manager when they can't even demonstrate improvements with all the people, companies, and boards they put in place with the consent agreement, said McNeil. Instead of appointing another state bureaucrat to mess things up even more, they should take that money and put it back in staffing the finance department so the city can collect what it is owed, as we used to do when we were fully staffed. These workers pay for themselves many times over in the revenue they bring in. The catastrophe we see now was worsened when the state told the city to reject the union contract this past spring, which would have brought 86 revenue-generating employees to work. The city needs less state involvement, not more.
And the federal government is messing up our 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 country, not just here in Detroit, but all over America. All right, and everyone likes all these stupid people that don't understand what's going on. A lot of you. I mean, there's a lot of you. I'm surprised there's a lot of people that really don't know what the hell is going on. All right, check this out. China buys. So anyone here living in Michigan that thinks Rick Snyder's doing a good job, why the f, excuse my language, China buys 200 acres of farmland in Millen, Michigan. What do you think they're going to do to the city of Detroit? Who do you think they're going to sell our property to? To the Chinese? Right? To a communist country? Here, read this.
The southeastern Michigan city of Milan, a 40-minute or so commute to Toledo or Detroit industrial centers, might become the new home for a 200-acre or larger China city that would house Chinese business people. Milan, a city of 6,000 surrounded by farm fields, is the locale for an unusual deal in the industrial heartland as the rocky relationship continues between the People's Republic of China and the United States. A group of mainland Chinese known as Sino-Michigan Properties LLC paid $1.9 million for 200 acres of farmland in Milan city limits in purchases this year and in 2011, according to local officials and property records.
And we don't have to get on no more. The Chinese Properties LLC paid 1.9 million, so they already bought it. All right, it's not like how they put out, they don't, the news people, it's all paid, it's all BS. All right, it's the truth. They sold the land, folks. And all I can tell people is stick up for your rights. This ain't supposed to happen. Don't sit back, do something about it. Peace ain't gonna help nothing. Peace. Protesting ain't gonna help nothing. Unify. This is the No Face movement. Please rate, subscribe, and comment. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Blogspot, Critterbox, and Godlike Production. Please go to Mystiques and Astrology and Astronomy channel and subscribe. That's my backup channel. If this channel will get shut down, please be prepared. We're living in the brink of the end. This is the No Face movement. Moving to next time. Facing off.